90% of people think the same way. They react the same way. They make the same mistakes the same way. And they wonder why they keep getting the same results. In the next 6 minutes, you're going to think differently. Let's go.
Look around at any group of people, and you will see the same thinking patterns running on repeat. Not because people are unintelligent, but because nobody ever upgraded the operating system. Most people are running on factory settings.
Here's what's remarkable. The 10% who think differently are not using a different brain. They are using the same hardware with a fundamentally different software. And software can be updated, starting right now.
6 minutes, 9 thinking upgrades, and a completely different relationship with how you process the world. This is not motivation. This is not inspiration. This is a practical upgrade to how your mind operates. Pay attention.
The 90% think in loops. They inherit beliefs from their environment, confirm those beliefs with people who share them, and never question whether the loop is taking them anywhere useful. They are not thinking, they are repeating. The 90% are reactive. Life happens to them, and they respond emotionally immediately without strategy. The 10% are proactive. They anticipate, they position. They are already 3 steps ahead before the situation arrives.
When information arrives, the 90% react. The 10% evaluate. There is a gap between stimulus and response, and in that gap lives all of human freedom, all of human intelligence, and all of the decisions that separate one kind of life from another.
The 90% validate their existing beliefs by surrounding themselves with people who already agree. The 10% deliberately seek out the strongest possible challenge to their beliefs because they understand that a belief that can't survive challenge isn't worth holding. The 90% optimize for comfort. The 10% optimize for growth because they have understood something profound. The discomfort of thinking differently is temporary, but the advantage it creates is permanent. Now, 9 specific upgrades.
Upgrade 1.
Think in first principles, not assumptions. Most people build their thinking on inherited beliefs, cultural assumptions, and received wisdom they've never personally examined. First principles thinking tears all of that down and asks, what do I actually know for certain? What can I verify myself? Build from there. Elon Musk used first principles thinking to conclude that rocket ships didn't have to cost what they cost because the actual materials were only 2% of the price. Everyone else accepted the assumption. He questioned it. Strip your assumptions back to bedrock, then rebuild. Upgrade 2. Understand second and third order consequences. The 90% see the immediate result of a decision. The 10% trace the chain. What does that result lead to? And what does that lead to? A decision that looks good at step 1 can be catastrophic at step 3. When you take a new job for more money, that's step 1. Step 2, you work longer hours. Step 3, you have less time for the relationships and health that actually determine your life quality. The full consequence chain was always visible. Most people just stopped looking after step 1. Upgrade 3. Invert the problem. Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's partner, said it best. Invert. Always invert. Don't just ask how to succeed. Ask what would guarantee failure. Study the failure conditions in detail. Then systematically eliminate them. The path to success is often most clearly seen from the direction of failure. Instead of asking, how do I build a successful business? Ask, what would definitely destroy a business? Poor cash management, ignoring customers, hiring the wrong people, solving a problem nobody has. Now avoid all of those And you've dramatically improved your odds without having solved the forward problem at all.
Upgrade 4. Read the room and then read behind the room. Emotional intelligence is not just about being kind. It is about understanding what is actually happening beneath the surface of every interaction. What is this person not saying? What does their body communicate that their words don't? What do they actually need versus what they're asking for? There are always two conversations happening simultaneously, the one being spoken and the one being felt. The 10% participate in both. They hear the words and read the subtext. This makes them extraordinarily effective in every human interaction, professional, personal, and everything in between. Upgrade 5. Think in probabilities, not certainties. The 90% demand certainty before they act. Since certainty rarely arrives, they rarely act. The 10% think in probabilities. They ask, given what I know, what is the most likely outcome? They act on the most probable, and they update when new evidence arrives. The most intellectually honest sentence you can say about almost anything is, I'm probably right, but I'm genuinely open to being wrong. That phrase, 4 words of humility, keeps your mind updating rather than calcifying. The smartest people change their mind more often than average people, not less. Upgrade 6. Separate signal from noise. We live in a world of infinite information and almost zero wisdom. The 10% have built rigorous filters. They know which sources carry signal and which generate noise, which opinions deserve attention and which deserve silence. Their attention is deliberately rationed. Attention is your most valuable asset. Ask yourself right now, how much of what you consumed mentally today was signal? How much was noise? The news cycle, the social media scroll, the background commentary that fills your mental space. Most of it is noise. The 10% protect their signal ruthlessly. You should too. Upgrade 7. Use mental models, not just opinions. A mental model is a framework for understanding how something works. The 10% carry a collection of these from multiple disciplines and apply them to new situations. They don't just have opinions, they have lenses. One situation viewed through 3 mental models reveals 3 dimensions of the problem that a single opinion would miss entirely. Systems thinking shows you the feedback loops. Game theory shows you the incentives. Probabilistic thinking shows you the range of outcomes. One situation, 3 tools, complete picture. Upgrade 8. Question your own thinking. This is perhaps the rarest upgrade of all because the ego resists it. The 10% regularly examine their own beliefs with the same critical rigor they would apply to anyone else's. They ask themselves the hard questions. Why do I believe this? What evidence would change my mind? Am I emotionally attached to this conclusion? Your beliefs are not you. They are hypotheses, updated regularly as evidence demands. The person who cannot update their beliefs in the face of new evidence is not strong. They are brittle. Intellectual flexibility is not weakness. It is the highest form of mental strength. Upgrade 9. Play long-term games with long-term people. The 90% optimize for today. The 10% optimize for the decade. They choose relationships, habits, careers, and investments based on what compounds, not what pays immediately. Compounding is the most powerful force in the universe, and it works on everything: money, reputation, knowledge, relationships, trust. The compound curve looks flat and discouraging for a long time. Most people quit in the flat section, right before the curve turns vertical. The 10% stay. They understand that the flat section is not failure, it is investment. And they trust the math of compounding enough to stay invested until the curve arrives. 9 upgrades. Think in first principles. See second and third order consequences. Invert the problem. Read behind the room. Think in probabilities. Filter signal from noise. Use mental models. Question your own thinking. Play long-term games. 9 shifts, 1 upgraded mind. Here is what changes when you think this way.
Not your circumstances, not your resources, not your starting point.
Your relationship to all of those things changes. Problems become puzzles. Setbacks become data. People become understandable. The future becomes navigable. The same world, experienced completely differently.
The default thinking life is reactive, emotional, short-term, and scattered. The upgraded thinking life is strategic, calibrated, long-term, and focused. These two lives diverge dramatically over time, not because of luck or talent or circumstance, but because of the quality of thinking applied daily to every decision. Better thinking is the ultimate competitive advantage because it improves every other area of your life simultaneously. Better thinking means better decisions. Better decisions mean better outcomes. Better outcomes compound into a better life. It starts with the quality of the thought you are having right now.
And here is what the 10% understand about their thinking advantage. It is not for hoarding. It is for sharing. Because when the people around you think better, your entire environment upgrades. The smartest thing a smart person can do is make the people around them smarter. The 10% was never a special club you needed to be born into. It was never about IQ or education or privilege. It has always been a choice. The daily, repeated, disciplined choice to think more carefully, question more honestly, and see more completely than the day before. Which of these 9 thinking upgrades will you apply today? Specifically, genuinely, which one? Tell us in the comments. Not all 9, just one. The one that landed hardest, the one you needed to hear. Start there. Apply that one today and let us know. You just upgraded your thinking. The information is in you now. What happens next depends entirely on one thing: whether you use it. The 90% will watch this, feel inspired for 10 minutes, and return to their loop. You are not going to do that. You already decided that when you chose to watch this. Now go think differently.